All right, welcome to the Patriot Hour for Sunday, December 8th, 2019. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. Welcome back all Patriots and returning Patriots and veterans and new members of the channel. Want to give a shout out to all of you. Thank you so much. All the links are down below in the description box. Most articles we go over, and links to the email and the different PayPal if you want to leave a tip. Again, we appreciate it. And again, folks, we are on the eve of FISL release. Now, this kind of, again, is a small scope into the Carter Page allegations, really only. Horowitz doesn't carry a badge, and he doesn't do any prosecutions. He can recommend. He did in his last report for Comey and Rosenstein, but nothing came of it because the DOJ refused to prosecute. The crimes Horowitz named last time were the exact same as the ones around Trump, Flynn, Stone, what they kind of went down for, and Manafort, obstruction, lying. They went down for that. These guys didn't. We kind of figured because more was coming, and most likely it is. How much do we put into Horowitz? I would say don't have too much. Lower your expectations for him. Again, he we're banking on Durham. Now, don't undermine this either. It's 500 pages. He's going to go through it extensively, but he's not going to, I don't believe, I think it's going to be, he's going to go through it extensively, but it's going to kind of show or say that it was all done by the book. It's going to be short of calling things crimes. It's going to, they're going to, instead of spy, they're going to use the word confidential informant now, or confidential human source, CHS. All right, that's the government's proper wording instead of saying spy or mole or rat. Now, there was some already abuses from Horowitz here about a week ago on the way that the agencies were interacting with the CHSs, the confidential human sources, the moles, the rats. They broke all kinds of rules, they were saying, and he's outlined some things for how they should do better in the future. See, that's how he works. That's why they put Durham alongside, right above him, coinciding, looking at other things, and much more broader of a scope, where his was limited. But we should see some huge bomb cells. This is the start of it. Again, I don't have much faith in how he'll word it, but I think he'll come up with some good facts. He wasn't afraid to push, charges on some other people and recommended. He recommended. That was the DOJ at the time, last summer, that chose not to go forward with crimes. Okay, so we'll get back to that. I wanted to sit here on the home page. We got the attacker at the Florida military base was a member of the Saudi military, and it was an act of terrorism, the congressman says, which was Gates, I believe. Attacker at the Florida military base was a member of the Saudi military. It was an act of terrorism, congressman says in video. Representative Matt Gaetz, a Republican out of Florida, said on Friday that the individual who opened fire at the Naval Air Station Pensacola was a member of the Saudi military, and that attack was an act of terrorism. The foreign national attacker killed at least 3 people and injured several others, who were sent to a nearby hospital for treatment. Gates responded to the attack by calling for extreme vetting of those allowed into the United States who train at U.S. military bases. I would agree. Me and my family still use the military bases and have access to all bases, and I will want those to be safe havens for my family if when we're on them. To have foreign people there training and then something like this is to pop off, that's pretty extreme. We're learning the Saudi Arabian military member in Pensacola committed these murders. I'm working with the Department of Defense, State Department, and DHS to ensure the extreme vetting for these who come to our country and train on bases. This was not a murder. This was an act of terrorism. So major news organizations are now reporting the information that we begin to learn early this morning, that it was a Saudi Arabian military official in Pensacola in our community for training who committed these murderous acts, And this is terrible, terrible violence at NAS Pensacola, Gates said. I think it's important for us to know a little bit about why the Saudi Arabian officials are in our community. Training in a critical part of a mission that we engage in NAS, Gates continued. One way that we've levered that training is to ensure that our allies around the world are capable and familiar with U.S. systems, that they are comfortable working with U.S. officers. And we have been, they basically have been doing this even since I was in. It's joint co-op stuff. You're making favors, but it's getting bad where they need to do a little bit more vetting for sure. And that's just a sad state of events, even though it's probably somewhat orchestrated with everything going on. That there was also reports that they already caught one of his buddies filming the whole thing. Yeah, so military base shooter assailed U.S. as a nation of evil. Miami, a Saudi military student reportedly condemned America as a nation of evil in an online manifesto prior to opening fire Friday at a U.S. naval base, killing 3 people before being shot dead by police. The shooting, which took place in a classroom building at Naval Air Station Pensacola in Florida, left eight others wounded, including 2 sheriff deputies who responded to the attack. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the shooter was from Saudi Arabia, the same nationality as 15 of the 19 men involved in the 9/11 attacks, some of whom attended civilian flight school in Florida and were here on expired visas. If you remember, I'll add that in. The Site Intelligence Group, which monitors jihadist media, identified him as Mohammed al-Shamarni, saying he had posted a short manifesto on Twitter that read, "I am against evil and America as a whole and has turned into a nation of evil. I am not against you for just being American. I don't hate you because of your freedoms. I hate you because every day you're supporting and funding and committing crimes not only against Muslims, but also against humanity." So think about that. Is Twitter going to be shut down? This happened to 8chan with the manifesto, supposedly. Even though we know it went somewhere else first, they used it to shut down 8chan in a heartbeat. And, that's where we went with all the delays on QPost. So the gunman was armed with a Glock 9mm handgun that had been purchased locally. The Times reported it had an extended magazine, and the shooter had 4 to 6 other magazines in his possession. 6 Saudis were detained following the shooting. Just kind of giving some highlights here. So the Twitter account that posted the manifesto, which also condemned U.S. support for Israel, included a quote from Al-Qaeda's deceased leader, the Saudi Osama bin Laden, and it has been suspended, the account. Well, what about all of Twitter? It should be taken down. The manifesto went there, right? Twitter censorship confirmed. Shadow banning is now written into the platform's new terms. Twitter has written shadow banning, aka censorship, into their new terms. The platform will now intentionally limit the visibility of some users. Expect those who dissent from the official narrative to be the ones censored. Critics have accused Twitter of censorship for quite some time now, but this time it's official. The company has admitted that they will attempt to silence those critical of ruling class, according to RT. The new terms will be taken effect in January of 2020. While the new terms don't look like much to write home about, some tweaks to the language could have larger repercussions for users, limiting their reach beyond the screens without their knowledge, behind the scenes. So David Rebel here posted, last year when I spoke to Twitter reps, they lied and gaslight us about their targeted manipulation of people's tweets. Now it's in their TOS. And this is a revised passage effective January 1st. Our services evolve constantly, as such services may change from time to time at our discretion. We may stop permanently, temporarily providing the services and any new features with the service to users in general. Limit distribution or visibility of any content on the service. Suspend or terminate users, reclaim usernames without liability to you. The change only applies to users who live outside the European Union or European Economic Area. We may also remove or refuse to distribute any content on the services, limit distribution or visibility of any content on the services, suspend or terminate users, and reclaim usernames without any liability. The social media giant is telling users it reserves the right to shadow ban or throttle or censor certain accounts. And it's not clear on what basis it'll make those decisions. although we guess based on their past, which is rife with censorship, that the accounts that aren't patronizing the government's parroting the government's official narrative will be on the list. So we know how that works. I've been kind of shadow banned over there, according to people familiar with the, Twitter. Okay, so I just wanted to get those couple of articles read here. We'll keep this short and sweet. I'm working on something else in the background. I just want to take a short amount of time to cover this and say a little prayer for the fallen. Again, this has happened to be the Navy. It's a little close to home to me. I'm Navy. And the Navy's taken a little bit of abuse lately with these last couple of things going on in the news. So again, this is from 3 hours ago. The True Pundit, good articles. And I'm going to leave the link down below if you guys want to check these out a little more or watch the video with Matt Gates from Florida. All right, we'll see you back here real soon on the next Patriot Hour update. Make sure you are subscribed, and thank you all, and have a great night. Where we go one, we go all. God bless, Godspeed to each and every one of you, and prepare for tomorrow. And it's a lot. We'll get through it. Next couple of days we'll be telling. Again, Horowitz testifies 2 days after tomorrow of the releasal. So lots to look forward to this week. Lots of news.